Hello everybody, and today I am going to be going through my normal and rare festival experience using the deck displayed before you. So I'll start off the first duel by just summoning Masquerade because it's probably the best monster you can summon first turn, but I've noticed a few problems with the card specifically just because it's on field effects and it's only monster. It's still pretty strong, but you'll see that it comes across quite a few problems and it also uses up all your resources. So it's not the best card, but it's still pretty fun to play. So I decided to put in Gravity Bind and Level Limit Area B just so I can strengthen my defenses, because again we use up a lot of resources and we don't really have a way of recurring our resources properly. So it's just a bunch of really strong traps and floodgates that just work with the deck, because XYZ monsters work under Gravity Bind and Level Limit Area B. So it's pretty darn good. And Fogblade's pretty good. There are times where I forgot you can't attack the actual monster that's equipped with Fogblade, so there's that. So my opponent decides to go for an effect, I decide to negate it. Turns out my opponent had a response, so you can bounce my card. Good news is my effect negation still works, so I don't really have to do much. I decide to chain Gravity Bind here because I know he doesn't have anything else unless he has MST. Which would have been pretty unlucky, but then again I still do discard the card out of his hand, so it's just the end of his turn, and you can like slowly see me kinda just forgetting that I have Gravity Bind up on field. I forgot. I keep forgetting that, you know, it only works with XYZ monsters, and yeah. My opponent has an interesting trap laid down for me, and that trap happens to be Dust Tornado. He has to get rid of the Gravity Bind. Luckily for me, I have Lost Wind and Fogblade below. So you'll see the different use cases for Fogblade, Lost Wind and Fogblade. The thing about Lost Wind was that if in damage calc I can activate and half my opponent's attack, but he changes its defense position, so I have to, it forces my Fogblade out. And yeah, now that card is pretty much dead in the water, and I have a Lost Wind just to keep me safe. I was thinking of using Ice Hand, but I can't even attack into my opponent's monster, so I was just thinking about what to do. I decided to go into Malevolent Sin because, you know, I think it's the best option in this scenario. The problem is I still can't really get over the Blackwing card, and if I banish and comes back, I don't think Fogblade's in effect, but I still have Lost Wind. So yeah, and my opponent doesn't have any cards in hand, just scoops, because he can't really do much in this scenario. Next duel, I just summon Firehand and pass. Now, people who weren't there during Hat format don't know what, you know, those cards do. Firehand, when it's destroyed, summons Ice Hand. Firehand destroys a monster, and when Ice Hand is destroyed, it destroys a spell trap. So that's pretty much the equivalent of their effect. Now, he goes for Flame Wingman. Of course, this classic card, we know its effect, I get burnt. I don't know if he read the effect of Firehand, he might have, because his goal might just be to burn me out. But I don't think it ends in a great situation for him. He goes for Decider. I decide to Fogblade here. I don't know if it's the right move because I don't know what kind of garbage he's playing. Like, I'm playing garbage, but he's playing worse garbage. I whiff my Chupacabra, and I forget that, you know, I can't attack with Fogblade, you know, just the classic. He has Miracle Fusion, I think it was a top deck probably, and then goes out for another Flame Wingman. So I assume I'm dead here, because I thought it would have some sort of amazing, cool play that he had. Turns out it was just a boost in attack and a second attack in a row. He attacked Ice Hand for no particular reason for the second time, I think. Maybe he wanted the... He attacks the Fire Hand, which I don't think is the right decision. But I maybe wanted the Skyscraper on the field, I'm not sure. Either way, I still would have had two monsters on the field and a way to get rid of the big boy. So I get 10 Goldfish, I go into Masquerade because it's my favorite Pokemon, and I decide to mill out his top card off his deck for no reason at all. Go into battle phase, attack. Numon's Force negates all face-up cards, so I can attack him whilst Full Blade's still on the field, and Skyscraper is inactive. Now, this guy doesn't realize, and didn't read my card, that Skyscraper is inactive, so that's what happens when you don't read your cards, boys. I activate Mothman because I just want to see what I pick up off the next draw. I don't think it was the right decision. Probably should have just normal summoned it. But then again, putting a normal summon on the field that's not like a big chonker kind of puts me at risk for dying because, you know. But then again, there's not many normal summons that can go over 1800 that easily, especially when he's just playing a lot of normal monsters. Finally, it comes my turn. I Bahamut Shark and go all in on Diamond Crab King, because why not? Diamond Crab King actually comes up in other games because that 3000 attack actually becomes pretty useful because it can get over things that usually you can't. Malevolent Sin's useful, but it's only when going for games, so it's definitely not as useful in this format as other formats, but again, it's still a useful card in general. Now, I decide to overextend. Typically, I would rather a person just go 10 Goldfish into another card, or just summon Masquerade. This is just overextending for no reason at all. Next turn, you could have just summoned a better, like a decent XYZ, and you would have had a follow-up play, like, the next turn. So, again, I'm overextending for zero reason at all. But there's also one maybe decent reason that you'll do this. It's because of Torrential Tribute. My opponent most likely bricked, or maybe he thought it was scary. I don't know, but that's the end of that. I do the classic normal summon Fire Hand and pass, and yeah, let's watch what my opponent does. Will he attack into Fire Hand? Will he read Fire Hand? The answer is obviously no. I was debating whether to use Gravity Bind or not. I probably shouldn't have used Gravity Bind because I could have just removed all his monsters there and then if he continued to decide to attack into other hands. He attacks, I use Gravity Bind. Now he can attack with his little level 3 monster. Again, I doubt he's reading what Fire Hand does. I destroy his Unga Bunga. Now, you would usually go for the 3 in this scenario, but I kind of want him to keep attacking to my hands, you know? He keeps catching these hands and fucking dying. So, I decide to, again, go big or go home because I realize that my opponent doesn't have any decent resources in hand. So, I go for the big chonkers. Now, in this scenario, I don't have any 2500 or above attack monsters I can go into, so I go into Diamond Crab King. This is where it becomes really useful, where you don't really have, like, much you can do. I don't use Malevolent Sin's effect because I'd rather not give him resources on his crackbacks, on the crackback, so it shouldn't be too bad when he draws, and I decide to summon XYZ Remora via its effect, detaching to XYZ material, and go into a second Malevolent Sin, Diamond Crab King, and that will be game. Thank you for watching, and this is my normal and rare deck. Hope you enjoyed.